Hello, welcome to this masterclass on 3D printing. My name's Iona. I'm a Senior Associate in the Intellectual Property Department at Baker McKenzie, and I'm going to talk about 3D printing and the intellectual property rights that apply to it. I'm going to give a general overview of 3D printing, talk about what types of products can be 3D printed, and then I'm going to talk about the various IP rights and exceptions that will apply to 3D printed products before moving on to enforcement and how designers can try to use those IP rights to protect their designs. 3D printing is a technology that enables the creation of three-dimensional products using what I will call ink, but what isn't really ink, to build up a number of layers to create a shape. Now, these inks can be solids, they can be liquids, they can be gels, and they can be used to create really complex, tiny or ginormous structures. At the moment, the main applications are in respect of accessories and what I call trinkets, but basically easily made products. So mobile phone covers, jewellery, accessories, simple products that can be made of plastic or similar materials. But that's not where 3D printing stops. And in fact, 3D printing is really just in its infancy at the moment. We're seeing the fashion industry develop 3D printing to create clothing. Another application we're seeing a lot of is jewellery. The inks that we can use include gold and silver and other metals. So we're seeing the designers in the jewellery industry really using 3D printing to finesse their designs. An application that we might see in future is pharmaceuticals. We're not quite there yet, but we're seeing researchers looking at whether it's possible to print pharmaceuticals using 3D printers. And this is a really interesting area because it raises a number of questions. Conversely, of course, that means that counterfeiters, once they have a copy of a design file, or once they have a copy of a product that they're able to scan and so reverse engineer the design file, are also able to print those products at the touch of a button. And that has massive implications. Copyright, as many of you know, only protects 8 categories of works in the UK. So those are original, literary, dramatic, musical or artistic works, films, broadcasts, published editions and sound recordings. Now out of those, I'm not sure where you would put most 3D printed products. I think the only one that is even potentially relevant is an artistic work. Within artistic works there are further subcategories, and the only 2 of which I think may be relevant to 3D printed products are sculptures and works of craftsmanship. Now, those 2 subcategories, again, I'm not sure will be sufficient to protect 3D printed products. As an example, we can see the Lucasfilm and Ainsworth case. Where this really falls down for designers is when we consider exceptions, because there is an exception to the design right, which is for personal copying. So if you make a copy of a product in your own home for non-commercial purposes, that is not an infringement of a UK registered design. So we're basically talking about peer-to-peer file sharing, which is something we've seen in the music and the film industries already. So I think one possible solution for designers will be to pursue ISPs in the same way that we've seen in the film and music industries, asking them for blocking injunctions. Now at the other end of the spectrum, and much more recently, we've seen the Newsbin case, in which Newsbin were found to authorise infringement. Now Newsbin was a file sharing site which enabled users to upload content and then to download content. The difference here was that Newsbin indexed that content. I think we're going to see a number of cases addressing various issues, but I would urge practitioners and in-house lawyers to consider in advance what the strategy should be for enforcing intellectual property rights in 3D printed products.